What's up guys, Craig Yeats here. Welcome back to another video. Last week we chatted about Michael Burry and his predictions of what is going to happen in 2021. Are we in for the mother of all crashes? So if you haven't yet, go back and watch that one and then come back to this one. Because today, this one is rather interesting. We are going to talk about, is it better to own the home that you live in, or is it better to rent the home that you live in? So we've spoken on Coffee with Craig before about investing in property, and we did a little property tour with Vaughan Erasmus, so you can go and check that out. But today, we're going to talk about something that I've been very interested in for a very, very long period of time. So we're going to look at some of the research that I've done, we're going to weigh up the pros and cons, and I'm going to chat a little bit about my own personal experience when it comes to the house that you live in, and if it's better and if it's cheaper to own it or to rent it. So stay tuned. It's been an age-old question for many, many years. Is it better to own the home you live in? Is it better to rent? For a lot of people, they feel as though renting is defeat. They feel as if they're taking their hard-earned income, and every single month, when they have to pay for their rent, they're throwing away their money. Every month, month after month after month. Well, we're going to find out, is it possible that renting can actually help you grow your wealth in the long term, or is it better to own your home and grow your net wealth from owning that home? I decided I'm going to do some research. And the first bit of research that I found, it said that 60% of South Africans own their own home. And I thought to myself, how is that possible when we have an unemployment rate of 32% in South Africa? That would mean every single person that works in South Africa owns their own home. If that's the case, who's renting? Well, we know that's not true. And in that article, it said first-time homeowners, entry-level market, are going to purchase a property that is roughly between 80 square meters and 140 square meters, and that's going to cost you around 900,000 Rand. It then went on to say the average home for the average family would cost around 1.2 million Rand. And now, based on the fact that I know, you know, that 60% of South Africans aren't homeowners, I had to go and look a little bit deeper. And the next article I found, it said that the entry-level, first-time property that one would purchase is going to cost just a little bit more than 1 million Rand. And the average family home for the average individual in South Africa will cost somewhere around 1.3 million Rand. But then I thought to myself, hey Craig, you're not average, your views aren't average, and no person that wants to learn about entrepreneurship, success, business, and investing wants to be average. So let's not talk about an average property. Let's talk about something a little bit more than that. Let's talk about something even more than double than that. Let's talk about, is it better to own a home that's going to cost you 3 million Rand to buy, or would it be better to rent a home that would cost 3 million Rand to buy? So let's have a look. Scrolling through Property 24 to find a property that's going to cost 3 million Rand, I came across this property. Well, here in South Africa, there's been a big movement from single family homes to sectional title. The reason behind that is obviously safety, security, and to still have a little bit of community. So there's been a lot of movement into whether it is a development of sorts, whether it is a estate, but mostly it's been flats, blocks of flats. So this property in De Waterkant is a nice 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom property on 99 square meters. It's really nice that it's got space for parking, so it's got 3 parking bays, but it's pretty much a standard property for a couple, maybe 1 child, maybe 2 people wanting to share. We've got our property, it's going to cost you 3 million Rand. Now, I don't know about you, but most people don't have 3 million Rand sitting around in their bank account for them to go and buy their first property. Most people need to go to the bank and ask for a bond. Now, banks have become very clever because they want to partner with you on a deal. They want you to put in a percentage of the deal. Most of the time, a minimum of a 10% deposit is required. That means you need to have 300,000 Rand in order to purchase this property. With that 300,000 Rand, the bank will give you a 2.7 million Rand bond. That's great because interest rates are now at an all-time low. Interest rates are roughly around 7%. Most people will go and qualify for a bond with a 7% interest rate over a 20-year period. That means your monthly bond repayments are going to be around 20,933 Rand per month. Now, if we look at the same property, this same property is going to cost you 16,000 Rand a month to rent. So if you look at it, not too bad. 5,000 Rand more and I can be a property owner, own this beautiful property, or 16,000 Rand and I rent it for a year. It's not only going to cost you just short of 21,000 Rand to own this property, because as you can see, there are rates and taxes and levies that are also need to be paid. So when you're renting a property, your rent is the maximum amount you will actually pay. With property ownership, your bond is the minimum amount you will end up paying, because on this property, the rates and taxes are a whopping 1,600 Rand per month additionally on top of the bond. And levies are 3,100 Rand on top of the rates and taxes and on top of the bond. That means to own this property, it will cost you 26,633 Rand per month. That means it's 10,000 Rand more than 16,000. That is a lot of money. 10,000 Rand more to own the property. But not only that, you have to qualify for the bond. To be able to qualify for this specific bond, you need to be earning 70,000 Rand per month. Now, that might be you and a partner, or you and a spouse, and you and a friend that can pull together two combined incomes to get to 70,000 Rand a month, but it's a lot of money. But if you stay watching my videos, we're going to teach you how to grow your income, how to be successful, how to become an entrepreneur so that you can afford any property that you want. But right now, 70,000 Rand is a lot of money in order to buy a 3 million Rand property. It doesn't all end there, because on top of the 300,000 Rand deposit that you need to find, you also need to pay bond costs as well as transfer costs. Now, on this bond, it's going to cost you 45,000 Rand as a once-off initiation fee, and the transfer costs are going to cost you around 190,000 Rand a month. That means to get started with this deal, you need to have over 534,000 Rand as an initial once-off payment. That means you need more than 500,000 Rand to purchase this property for 3 million. Hey, just a quick little break from the video. Have you smashed that like button just yet? You know you got to go do it. It makes such a big difference to my channel when you go and hit like. It's not going to cost you anything. There's no rent here. There's no bond payments. Quickly go and smash that like button and then back to learning. So you've decided you're going to be a property owner. You're going to find 500,000 Rand. You're going to pay 10,000 Rand more to own than to rent this property, because the price of property just goes up over time. So my question to you is, that 534,000 Rand, what happens if you didn't go and spend it upfront initially and put it into your property? What happens if you continued to rent the same property for 16,000 Rand a month, and you took that 534,000 Rand and you went to go and invest it? And you went to go invest it in the JSE. Now, if we look at how the JSE has performed over the last 25 years, you've got an average rate of return of 12.4%. So let's say for the next 20 years, you go and you start off and you find that 534,000 Rand, you put it into the JSE. And on top of that, you carry on renting this property for 16,000 Rand, and you take that additional 10,000 Rand per month and you invest it into the JSE as well. Well, after 20 years, will you have more money in your investment, or will you have more money in your property? Because after 20 years, you would have paid off your property. Now, if we look at it, your 500,000 Rand plus your 10,000 Rand a month invested into the JSE for a 20-year period will give you a whopping 15 million Rand investment after 20 years. That's great. But now, Craig, how much would my property be worth? Well, the rule of thumb is that a property will double every 10 years. So you purchase the property today for 3 million Rand. In 10 years' time, that means it would be worth 6 million Rand. 10 years after that, 12 million. So own the property for 12 million, or invest the exact same amount and your investment will be worth 15 million. So 15 over 12, you 3 million Rand better off in the investment than in the property that you've rented. Now, remember I said interest rates are at an all-time low? Well, what do you think is going to happen over the next 20 years? Are they going to stay this low for the next 20 years? The chances are not very high. Now, if interest rates go up at least 1%, your bond will go from 20,000 Rand a month to 22,000. If it goes up a further percent, it goes to 24,000 Rand a month. So A quick summary, every interest rate increase will be an extra 2,000 Rand a month that you would be putting into your bond. Now, what are the chances that interest rates will go up over the next 20 years? The chances are pretty high. So let's say you continue to rent this property, but every time interest rates went up, you put that money into your investment, an extra 2,000 Rand a month. That means if interest rates go up 1%, instead of 15 million Rand in 20 years, you will have 17 million Rand. And if interest rates go up 2 percentage points, that means you will have 18 million Rand. Now that sounds really good compared to your property that would be worth 12 million Rand after 20 years. Now, on top of all these numbers, there's a couple of other things to consider. Owning your own home is great from an emotional point of view. It's yours. You can do with what you want. You can paint the colors of the walls whatever color you want. You can do what you want inside the actual property, and you have this feeling of ownership. And that's great. But now, the question I have for you, buying the property today, will you potentially change your family over the next 20 years? Could your family increase in numbers? Do you maybe want to get a pet, a dog, a cat, a fish tank, you name it, and you need some more space? Well, chances in 20 years, things are going to change. Your family will change. Maybe over that period of time, you also want to change location. Owning a home is a big commitment from a time point of view, from a future point of view, and how your family is going to change. Whereas renting a property means you can go and change. You can change to a different suburb, to a different location. You can then look at renting a bigger place, a smaller place. As your family size changes, you can rent a different type of house. If you need to move closer to a school, you can do so. You get a new hobby, you want to move closer to that hobby, you can do that kind of thing. When it comes to rental, you can jump around and you have a lot of movement and flexibility. Buying a property is not that simple. As you've seen, the initial cost of purchase is very high. To get a return on your property, you need to stay there for a lengthy period of time. And that means you need to take into consideration how things will change into the future, how your family will change, how your sports will change, how your pets will change. But owning a house is great. It's a great feeling because you have that ownership. But even after 20 years, even after paying off that property, it doesn't mean you won't ever pay anything, because rates and taxes will continue, levies will continue, and after 20 years, I can tell you now, you're going to need to do some maintenance on that home. But it's your home. Now, when it comes to property, yes, you can make money. Definitely, you can make money on owning your own home. But the first couple of years, all your monthly bond payments go straight into interest. That doesn't go into paying off capital and building equity in the home. You can make money in your own home. You need to stay there for a long period of time. And the chances of you staying there is not that high. Now, you decide, great, I've paid all this money up front initially to purchase the property. Now I want to sell. Are there any costs when I sell? Yes, there are more costs when you sell. The entry costs are high, but so are the exit costs when it comes to purchasing your own home. You can't just move around whenever you want, because now when you sell it, you're going to have to pay estate agency fees. And if there's been a growth on that, there's going to be CGT that you will pay on your own home. So there you have it. We've gone through some of the numbers. Is it better to own your own home? Is it better to rent your home and go invest the difference elsewhere? For me, I most certainly believe it is a great thing to rent, move around, have the flexibility, have the freedom, but you have to invest. For most people, they don't go invest that extra money. So owning a home can be good, because for a lot of people, it's a forced savings. You can't just stop saving and stop investing, because if you do that, the bank will come and take your property away. For most people, when they have to go and invest money themselves, they go through a bit of a tough time. What do? They stop investing the money. So you have to have the discipline in order to make this work. So there we have it. You now know what is best for you, whether it's better to rent, whether it's better to buy. But what we do know, it's always best to smash that like button. So if you haven't yet, go on, smash it now, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, enjoy this video, enjoy next week's video, enjoy all the videos to come. My name's Craig Yeats. I'm out of here. Until next time, see you soon.